Before I get into this one, when you're done, there'll be a link in the top comment to my other video that got like 10,000 views in the first day, so people were interested in that topic. But I presented the question of if Chappelle was on stage or like Charlie Murphy, do you think things would have went down like this? But people seem to like that one, so when you're done with this, check that one out too. But I wanted to talk about the pressures of society as a whole. When I was writing this book called Reclaimed, it talks about getting your life back at like 40, late 30s, 40s. Particularly men, you go through like life's beating you up, relationships and marriages and kids and jobs and money, and you're seeing the suicide rate of men skyrocket around that age right now. And unfortunately, I do know a few people that took their life in recent years, and life was overwhelming, and it was just too much for them. And I know other people going through things right now where, especially in marriages, where they feel like they have no way out. If they leave, they lose half their money. It's going to screw their kids' lives up. They got to worry about shared custody, and then it's like, well, then her ex is going to have somebody, and then what's Christmas going to look like, and do we got to switch Christmas? Like, all this pain inside them where they feel like there is no way out. So I just wonder if you look at Will right now and go, man, we don't need any more memes. We don't need any more late night roasts. Maybe this is like a cry for help. I wasn't really following along. It's hard to avoid not seeing it on the internet. All the memes of Will when he was crying and the entanglement, and maybe it's something he signed up for. Maybe who knows what their lifestyle's like, but the general consensus on the internet, which doesn't really mean much, is that he's just a broken man. And did his wife just put him through hell, or was this kind of like an ultimatum where this is what, if you want to stay with me, this is what it's going to be like, or you got to leave? And I feel like a lot of men, even if they're not presented with that situation, they feel like even if they want to get out, they can't. They leave and life is over. You get divorced, you got to share your kids, all this other drama comes about. Men feel trapped. And I think probably women feel trapped too in the same sense. I don't think it's probably not, I don't think men just feel that way. I just know because I've heard a lot of men talk about this where they just feel that they've been abused, verbally. They're in a bad relationship, but they got two kids, and then obviously the money situation, and they just got to stay. And then they try to stay until the kids, go off to college or something, and then by then it's like, well, you're 55 or 60, and then it's like, well, if life's going to be miserable, then they decide to like take their life. And that's what I was working on in my book, from getting fit to getting your money right, kind of talking to people that's even in their late 20s and early 30s to not make some of them same mistakes a lot of men make. And then even some of the stuff that I kind of felt as I got into my late 30s. But I'm looking at Will right now, and I did that episode just presenting the question of, what would it be different if Chris Rock was there? And then I had to see what was going on the internet, and then you saw articles like this that talked about him getting roasted. It's like, could you meme someone to suicide? And should the internet just back off right now? You see someone that's going through a tremendous amount of probably pain. I don't know. It just, at some point, you say, okay, enough's enough. But the internet doesn't know that. If you saw what goes on Twitter, I don't even go on Twitter anymore. I'll go look for like trendy news or something. Screw Twitter. It's a place that will drive you insane. I feel like TikTok is probably that way too. Is society going to take any responsibility? If Will does end up doing something or harming himself, will anybody be held accountable for it? Will the late night host who will rip him apart be held accountable other than feeling bad? Or the millions of memes that get made? that we as a society have to step back and say, okay, you're a celebrity. That's how you make your money. You know, a lot of people enjoy the celebrity. They surely like the paycheck that comes with it. There's going to be X amount of things that are going to be said. Late night shows are going to talk about you. The internet's going to talk about you. That comes with the territory. If you want the fat paychecks and the tens and millions of dollars and all the benefits that comes with being a celebrity, then you're going to get some of that. But if you see someone that's like just down on their luck and broken, do you keep pushing or does everyone just back off? I don't know. I think about, Anthony Bourdain, when there's a lot of cases where you look back and say, well, there wasn't really any warning, or there was some kind of warning or sign, then it was very small and it was hard to interpret, and no, in real time, no one would have interpreted that as a sign. And the next thing you know, they're just gone. And is this one of those cases where you saw, man, what was I watching? It was a Vlad TV interview that popped up with, I might be messing his name up because I can't remember off the top of my head. TK Kirkland, like that. Sorry if I messed his name up. But he said something along the lines, and God, I'm pulling from memory here, that if you just muted the TV during the Will Smith interview and you didn't listen to it and you just looked at Will in silence and just interpreted body language, that you kind of seen this a broken man, someone that was just beat up. And then you saw this like falling down, melting down kind of moment at the Oscars. Now it's like we see all these signs where maybe someone's struggling, they're in a bad situation, they feel like they can't get out of it. And then when something bad happens, we're going to go, oh wow, we saw all the signs. Meanwhile, the internet is just relentless. The memes are nonstop, the parodies are nonstop, the late night shows are nonstop, and like I said, I get it. Part of that comes with being a celebrity. Everyone gets roasted, everyone gets talked about. That's part of Hollywood, right? It just makes you wonder. You look at all this stuff and doesn't, you could say there's two wrongs here. Chris Rock maybe shouldn't have said what he said. Will probably shouldn't have went up and assaulted him. There's, two wrongs, two right. I mean, there's a whole bunch of ways we could discuss that. But looking at it right now, the dust kind of settled and you step back and say, okay, should you be concerned? Should someone in this family be concerned? Because if something bad does happen, you're going to sit back and go, right, we've seen all the signs, right? That was just a random thought. I was thinking about writing that book and the things that I've seen people go through. I've seen a lot of people go through divorce that just ended up broken. I watched their families get destroyed. I watched the hell that went through. Like, it sucks. There's nothing worse than feeling like you're in a bad situation and there's no way out. And if you do find a way out, that every way out is just as bad as staying. So I don't know. I saw something on CNN actually that talked about late night host roasting. I Googled it and I came across this article and a couple other articles, and I'm like, man, like I'm not sitting there watching late night TV to see a Will Smith getting roasted. I just, you see the memes popping up. He's been memed to death before. He's been dragged all over the internet for that interview where, like they were saying on Vlad, that it just looked like he was a broken man. It's like, well, how much crap does he have to take from society, or how much will he take? I don't know. It makes you look back and say, is social media in general making us a better place right now? And then, I mean, the late night host always did this type of stuff. But is there just a point when you back off, right? It's some things are going to be said, but you just keep going and going and going and going. I don't know. Anyways, if you have some thoughts on this, drop a comment below. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I look back to a lot of people we lost, and you had no warning. People that I knew that you didn't really have any. You didn't really have any warning, or maybe their close family had a couple signs or something. Right? Like, are you just seeing someone self-destruct right now? And instead of saying, "Hey, let's figure out how to better the situation," it's the memes just stomp on the gas pedal and they go. Random thought of the day. Again, the first video I did, I was more talking about, a different comedian on stage. Like, I thought Chris Rock handled it. I mean, he probably did the right thing. He didn't go in on Will. He didn't try to fight back. I was just like, with Charlie Murphy or Chappelle scrap, or would they light him up? It's, I was trying to present that question of what if it wasn't Chris? So if you want to hear that episode, I'll put a link in the top comment. Until then, I'm going to catch you on the next one.